So what I thought we'd do is just have you give a little background on yourselves real quick, just a couple of minutes, and then I'll kind of go through and ask some questions. And if Brandon joins us, then great, he'll kind of jump in and ask some questions too.
Okay, let's see. So my name's Jerri Jorgensen. I am 65 years old. I was raised in Logan, Utah. I have been in St. George for, oh my goodness, 28 years, I think. I was a school teacher by profession, high school coach, volleyball, track, drill team coach. Did a stint over in Germany for the Department of Defense for a couple of years. Moved to St. George. I went through a divorce, have 5 kids, single mom. Met Mark, married Mark. We've been together 20 years. And he had Keith Jorgensen's organ business. We sold organs and pianos. That's kind of what we did. And now we do Desert Solace, Addiction Recovery Treatment Center. And celebrating birthdays and 20 years of marriage, we went on an Asian cruise. And he thought it'd be really cool because Taiwan was one of the stops, and that's where he served his mission. So he speaks Mandarin, and he was excited to show me Taipei, Taiwan, and it was a great cruise. And I won't start on the cruise yet unless you're ready for me.
Yeah, let's jump into that. So we'll try to keep it brief, and but yeah, just give us an idea of sort of what that experience was like, and sort of we don't want to get a lot of fear and anxiety around it, but just what people were talking about and sort of how you guys dealt with it.
Yeah. So, as people know that we were some people refer to us as a floating petri dish. I felt like the crew, the captain of Princess Cruise Line, the Japanese ministry, everyone was in uncharted waters. Everyone was just kind of scrambling to do the best they could. Japanese people came, took temperatures. If they were high, they got them off the ship. We were well taken care of. A lot of people said, well, how did you get this virus? Because I haven't had a cold or a flu. I don't get sick. I might mess up a shoulder on a mountain bike fall or something, but I don't get sick.
Yeah.
But I'm the one that got it. And Mark, he's had 2 kidney transplants, so he takes immunosuppressant medication. So that's why they tested us in the first place, because we were asymptomatic. We never had a symptom. So they tested him, tested me. This is about a week into our quarantine in our cabin on the cruise ship. I'm the one that came back positive. We were stunned. So they whisked me away into an ambulance, 4-hour drive to Fukushima, where I was in, hi, Brandon.
Hi.
Where I was in a Japanese hospital. Nobody spoke English. We communicated through Google Translate. Some of the words don't translate very well. It was an adventure. A little bit of charades, a little bit of pantomiming. But so I was there for 2 weeks. In the meantime, 2 days after I got to that Japanese hospital, they wanted all the Americans back into America. So Mark went to Travis Air Force Base in California. He tested positive there. So they moved him to a hospital. And again, asymptomatic, felt fine. And then they moved him to, they just didn't know what they were, I'm sure it was a very nice hospital, but they didn't know what they were doing. They weren't equipped to handle an infectious disease that they didn't know anything about. So they finally got into IMC in Murray. And then they said, you're healthy. We don't need to spend all this money on you in this biocontainment unit. So how about if we just put you on a home up here in Salt Lake, and you can finish out your quarantine here? And he's going, well, can't I go home? So they talked to the CDC and the health department, said, yeah, let's send him home. So he's now been home here 3 days, I think.
Wow.
And that's where we're at.
So how much longer is his quarantine?
Well, as soon as he gets 2 negative tests, and we have 3 outstanding, 3 of them could come back today from when he was tested in Salt Lake City, but they have to go to Atlanta to the CDC center. So we're waiting for those to come back. We were hoping they'd come back Friday. They did not. So hopefully today, if 2 of those are negative, he's out of here. he's out on a bike. He's ready to go. So it's not so much the matter of days now. It is the 2 negative tests back to back, 24 hours apart.
Okay. That's exciting.
Yeah, we're getting there.
If I understood you correctly, neither of you had symptoms other than a fever. Is that correct? Or you didn't?
Mark didn't even have a fever.
He didn't. Okay.
He had 0 symptoms. The night before they came and took me off the ship, I had several hours of a fever, but then it was gone and I never had another fever. Didn't have a cough, sore throat, nothing.
Interesting. Okay.
It was interesting.
So tell us something that, as far as what we can share with our patients,
Yes.
that you've been doing during your life and potentially leading up to this that you think helped you. We know now it sounds like, Mark had an immune issue and you didn't, and you're still the one that got the fever and he didn't. So maybe there's some hit and miss there, but what are some potential things that you've been doing during your life to kind of boost your immunity that you think help?
Yeah, I think, I've been asked that a lot. And so a lot of it is, we exercise, we eat. I still have popcorn and milk duds at the movie theater, but for the most part, I do pretty well. We eat, pretty healthy. And I think the exercise is a big key, and just living in our lives in a way that, that we're living them intentionally. We want to, what can I do today to make today amazing? And living in the present and not being a victim to, there was a lot of times I could have been a victim to being in quarantine in a Japanese hospital. I wasn't even sick and I could have gone, woe is me, what happened? And I didn't even think about that. I was where I was, and every morning I got up and I had a plan. What can I do to make today amazing? So I think a lot of it is our attitude, just the attitude that way. Physically, I take doTERRA vitamins. We've been taking those since before Mark's second kidney transplant. Mark doesn't really get sick either. Between that and he grew up on a farm, we both grew up, I don't know if I'd recommend that now, but we drank out of a hose. We rolled in the dirt. We were kids climbing trees, getting scrapes. Nobody put antiseptic hand wash on us. We just lived our lives and were kids. And I think probably we just had a stronger immune system. That's kind of what I'm making up. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I think we keep our kids wrapped in a bubble and, oh, you can't do this. And they hand sanitize them every time they come in from, it doesn't make sense to me, but I'm not a doctor.
Sure. Well, Jerri, throughout this whole experience that you've had, what kind of advice were you given from medical teams or public health officials just relating to the coronavirus?
Not much.
Sure.
They don't know. They didn't know. I think they're learning more all the time. All they knew is that we had to get 2 negative tests. I didn't get a Tylenol and ibuprofen. I didn't need one. I didn't want one. Not much. And people say, well, what was your treatment? What medications did you receive? 0. None. We didn't have any symptoms. Why are they going to pump? So we didn't need anything. As far as they're coming up with the vaccine, I've heard they're working on it. I don't know that part. I just leave that up to them. But as far as information, they just said, this virus has been around for years, maybe since the 50s, maybe not this particular strain.
Right.
And so, there was SARS, there was MERS, and there was all these other outbreaks of different flus. And for some reason, this one has just exploded with the media. I think the media has done such a disservice, but I think they've created a lot of hysteria. That's been my experience. I think the hysteria that they've created is more dangerous than the flu. And, I've always, coughed or sneezed in my shirt or in my elbow. I wash my hands a lot. I know enough to try to not touch my face, just things that we should be doing normally. And so I've kind of always done that. And I still picked up this virus, but I didn't have any symptoms. So I make up the fact that, because I don't know, that it's because I have a healthy lifestyle that maybe, and both of us do, that we didn't get the symptoms. And we're not that old. I mean, they're saying that, you know, if you're elderly and have underlying symptoms, underlying issues, then just be aware a little bit more. Don't panic. Don't go into hysteria. And if you're feeling like, oh, I'm feeling kind of off, or maybe I've got a little bit of a fever, stay in your house and chill.
Yeah.
Watch TV. You know, you don't need to rush to this is my experience, you know, rushing to a doctor, or you just kind of chill at home, and usually that'll take care of itself, just treating it like you would a cold. And this whole thing with the masks and all the masks disappearing off the shelves, it's like, I think people lose brain cells when they hit panic mode or something, because it's totally unnecessary. The CDC has said, don't even wear them. They're not, you know, and if you think, well, I've got a cough and I'm going to go out, so I'm going to wear a mask. No, it's not going to really protect you or anybody else. Just stay home. Just stay home for a week or two until you feel better. That's the best advice from my experience. I don't think you need to be hospitalized unless, you know, you've got a really heavy duty underlying condition.
Yeah. Perfect, Jerri. I love it. You pretty much answered all of our questions with the last few
oh, good.
Stories and your experiences and thoughts. One of the things that we see, and I'm sure you've seen, is just this hysteria, like you called it, and people rushing to Costco or rushing to other stores. And even in the schools, our kids are talking to their friends who are scared about this virus. And we keep telling our kids, look, it's not even affecting kids.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
So
I haven't heard of any kids getting this. Exactly.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, between, you know, the world's going to end, you know, it's going to end in 12 years from global warming and this hysteria with this virus. What the heck are we doing to our kids and to our grandkids? Oh my gosh. Everyone just needs to chill. It's a flu.
Right.
It is not the bubonic plague. We're fine. We're going to be fine.
Good. And just last question. So no residual effects, right, from this illness that you've seen? Nothing at all?
Nothing at all. In fact, I got home so the flight from Japan, there was 2 screaming babies. And I love babies, but there was 2 very unhappy babies that screamed they alternated. One was to the side of me and one was in front of me. So I got 0 sleep on the way. So, but then I got home about 10 o'clock at night, got to bed about midnight, and I got up at 9 the next morning and did a 2.5-hour bike ride.
Wow.
And then the next morning, I did another 2-hour bike ride. And then yesterday, I did Wire Mesa. You guys done Wire Mesa?
I haven't done it yet.
Oh, it's a good one. So I did that with a bunch of girlfriends, and I'm with my posse. I'm with my group of friends. No one is afraid of me. We've had a few comments because we have been very publicly exposed by choice. That was our choice. And so there's scared people that we don't want you back in St. George and that kind of thing. And, you know, instead, I don't want to condemn anyone. It's just all fear-based. It's run by fear, and they're ill-informed on what's really going on. And so I don't let that bother me either. And that ever since we've been home, and since I've been home, and even Mark, we haven't received anything. It's all, I think it's mellowing out a little bit. So that's good.
Oh, good.
I was never scared.
Yeah.
But no residual effects at all. None. I still eat. My appetite's the same. I have energy. I'm sleeping. So yeah, it's good.
Perfect.
That's great.
Okay. Any last questions, Brandon?
No, we just appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Of course.
Yeah, we felt for you for sure when you were stuck in that hospital and
I know,
trying to do Pilates in the middle of the night with just Joey.
Well, I had to. If Joey could just get her FaceTime to work a little bit better, I would have been happier. But
love it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's all great, and I just want to alleviate the fears that it's, you know, it's just not what the media is hyping it up to be. Just, you know, do the basics, things that we already know to do. Stay hydrated, eat well. If you're feeling a little something, don't rush in. You're gonna be fine. Call you guys, and you'll probably tell them the same thing. Just chill.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Jerri.
You're welcome.
Good time. Tell Mark hi for us.
Okay, will do. Thanks, guys.